I just want to say to every American that's having trouble with this, I am sorry I voted for him. I regret it with all my heart. I feel like I've enabled this monster to destroy democracy, destroy everything that is good in this country.
We've got a very crazy man driving the train, and he's going to kill this country.
And Anthony, are you voting a straight up and down Democratic ticket?
Not only there, I am actually for the very first time contributing across the board, across the country. And I've never, ever written a check or spent any money on anything political because I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
I've been a lifelong Republican since the day I turned 18. For the first time in my life, I'm going to vote a straight Democratic ticket. Is if they're connected to Donald Trump, they are not connected to me.
So you now are no longer a Republican?
I am not, no.
Because of Donald Trump?
Because of Donald Trump. It was no longer the party that I joined. It's morphed into something that's almost unrecognizable.
You were a lifelong Republican.
Right.
If somebody had told you, say 15 years ago, that you are preparing to vote a straight up and down Democratic ticket in the midterms, you would have said what to them?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
So why are you now doing it?
To see Republicans not stand up to him, and the ones that do are just quitting.
I just think there's no values left anymore. There should be values. We have no values. He doesn't have any values. I thought he had values.
No, I'm definitely voting Democrat. I've been knocking on doors. I got a clipboard.
You're even canvassing.
I am canvassing for a Democrat in Wyoming.
That's how strongly you feel.
I believe hardly anything the president says, but I do believe he's a danger to this country and to our democracy. I'm going to fight every day. I just want to say to every American that's having trouble with this, I am sorry I voted for him. I regret it with all my heart. I feel like I've enabled this monster to destroy democracy, destroy everything that is good in this country.
We've got a very...
So there's breaking news, but the breaking news is not even the actual news. The headline is that the economy added only 73,000 jobs in July, but that is not even close to the worst part of it. The worst of it came because of Trump's policies, not just the import taxes paid by American businesses, but because of the chaos and uncertainty he's introduced to our incredibly complicated economy. This is why now that we better understand what's happened over the last few months, now that we have the complete data from employers, we know the actual jobs numbers for May and June were 250,000 lower than previously reported, which means that for most of the summer, we've been under 20,000 jobs per month. And we know that because of population growth, the economy has to produce at least 100 to 200,000 jobs per month just to actually break even. In other words, already only 6 months into Trump's second term, the jobs market is decelerating rapidly. And these numbers are coming from Trump's Bureau of Labor Statistics, which I guess is good news because these numbers are a disaster for Trump and they're reporting them anyway. Now, of course, those of you who have been paying attention won't be surprised by any of this because you know when Trump left office in 2021, he was the first president since Herbert Hoover to lose jobs. Since the Great Depression, he lost 3 million American jobs in just 4 years, and you can't just blame 2020 because 50% of the jobs that were lost while he was saying nothing was wrong in the first half of 2020 were regained before he left office in January 2021. And then, of course, Biden fixed the rest of it and gave us 48 consecutive months of jobs growth. No, the fact is the reality is much simpler. The reason 2 of Trump's first 6 months in office showed worse job creation than any month in Joe Biden's 48-month presidency is because Donald Trump is an incompetent fucking moron. He doesn't understand the economy. He doesn't understand the middle class. He has no idea how to create good-paying jobs, and most importantly, he doesn't understand you.
Every American needs to hear this. Your private health data was just handed over to private corporations and big tech. Yesterday, Trump signed an executive order that gives private corporations and big tech all of your data. So it's called CMS Digital Health Ecosystem, and they're selling it as healthcare modernization. Here's what it really is. Biometric surveillance powered by your health data. Over 60 tech and healthcare giants are on board. Apple, Google, Amazon, CVS, Oracle, United Health. Think MyChart, your period tracker, your weight loss app like Noom, your steps that you typically count, all of them handed over. This isn't just data collection, it's surveillance, and it's dangerous. I've talked for years about a social credit system. Well, this is all part of Project 2025's big plans to control everybody, decide who gets care. We've already seen a woman in Tennessee denied prenatal care because of her relationship status. Even though she's been in a relationship for 15 years, she wasn't married, and her doctor does not agree with that. So he denied her prenatal care. You think that any of this is not going to affect you? You're absolutely wrong. Because look, they can actually flag your risk based on your anxiety levels, your meds, any of your prescriptions. They can deny coverage based on any kind of missing checkups or tests. And they can silence dissenters by labeling them unwell in their big system. Palantir's got all of our information. So to add this on is just one step closer to absolute dystopian authoritarian dictatorship. And if you thought getting car insurance or health insurance before was difficult, you know how they rank your car insurance rates based on your credit score? Yeah, now they can use your health data. And any of the notes that your physician or your mental health provider has provided, they get access to. You didn't vote for this. None of us did. And the only way to stop it, because it's already being built, the only way to stop it is to call your representative and then support the legal actions that say this is illegal and unconstitutional. We have a right over our private health data. I'm going to break down on my Substack all the different places you need to opt out of, like MyChart and all of these other apps that track your prescriptions, your health data, your appointments, and all of that, because they are all agreeing to give this information to the Trump administration. They can decide if they don't like who you are and what you believe in based on either who you voted on, content you consume or you create. Then they decide what kind of care you get to have or don't get to have. This is dangerous beyond belief. This is so dystopian and so out of control. We need to push back. And like I said, I'm going to put it all in my Substack where you can withdraw your consent and how we can push back together. Pay attention and share this with a friend. Let me know in the comments what you think.
So when things don't go the way Trump's want, he is fond of actually, blaming other people for his incompetence. So Donald Trump decided to fire the chairperson or the director of Bureau of Statistics because he felt like she cooked the figures to actually, for political reasons. This director was appointed during Biden administration. So Donald Trump, according to his mind, he thinks that these guys were actually giving Biden's, the opposition, the Democrats, data. But we have seen how many people were losing jobs. Let's talk about the immigrants. How many jobs were lost there? Let's talk about the federal funding cuts, massive layoff that has been done since Trump took the office. So who in his right mind expect that there were jobs, there were jobs creation based on these issues? Who thinks that? So this lady, I think she refused. Trump wanted to actually, portray the positive, job creation, but she refused. I created a video last time talking about how Trump figures looked cooked. Remember when I think it was on May when he actually say he has created more than 47,000 jobs. I think that's the figure. And we said he is lying because above all the massive layoff, how will that, result in job creation? So Trump directed his team to fire Mark Entaffer immediately, replacing her with William. So trying to actually, remove people that are actually speaking the truth. And it has received a positive backlash or negative backlash from people, including former BLS official like William Beach, Trump appointee, and Erika Goshen, Obama appointee. What they're saying is that firing, it undermines the credibility of economic data, and people will not have trust on the Bureau. And to show that this man is actually losing it. Now, let's see, Trump was, in an interview yesterday, when he actually, how he described his press secretary. This, he will say something like his lips, how do you comment? Okay, above all things that you can actually, comment about, you decide to talk about lips. And there are things like tariffs that actually affecting economy. When this man took office, he actually said American first. He has been involved in other issues in other countries' affairs that's actually impacting, is showing America is not serious with what he says. Trump, he went ahead and meddled into African affairs state. I quote, diplomatic move. So support for Morocco and election pressure. So Trump reaffirmed U.S. support for Morocco's sovereignty over Western Sahara, reported on August 2, 2025, supporting Morocco autonomy plan as the sole solution. This aligns with the first-term deal where Morocco normalized relationship with Israel, confirmed by Secretary of State Mark Rubio in April 2025. While potentially strengthening ties, it could be controversial depending on the view of the conflict. And I want to show you why it's so controversial, this issue. Trump's main campaigning points was actually, American first issue. Now, he decided to go, and support, reassure American support on Morocco. Reason? Morocco is in bed with a terrorist group called Israel, but it's actually, committing genocide on innocent lives. That is the president for you. It shows how things are, not working right in the mind. Let's talk about the trade relationship with Israel. Trump tension with India escalated with the Trump imposing 25% tariff, as reported today on August, leading to stalled talks and cancelled visit by negotiators. This move, part of ongoing dispute, could impact global trade dynamics and bilateral relationship. We have all seen where this war, where this tariff war leads. Because again and again, it has not been actually proving to very useful to American people. We have seen Americans, lose a lot based on all these tariff decisions. I read somewhere that Donald Trump, Donald Trump plans to actually, ban Brazilians' funds to coming to America. Reason? Because they have dispute over the tariffs war. Now he threatened India, because of what? Actually buying from Russia. And he doesn't know that many of Africans now are moving to China, because China, in terms of, China comes with development that doesn't require, African kissing their toes. It's pure transactional. But for Trump to actually help your country, help your continent, you actually go to the knees. Tell us what you think about this video. And the whole Trump losing the shit out of him.